All right, we're live. It's the Spinnin Backfist MMA show for Thursday, December 8th, UFC 282 preview edition. UFC 282 going down this Saturday in Las Vegas. Oh, we got the much better lighting. You know though? No matter what lighting we go with in this room, I look so white, I'm almost translucent. I look like Casper the friggin' ghost in here. I almost look like Ev's sweatshirt. It's bad.
I probably help you. I'm very pale too.
The colors off where like my sweatshirt, it's like neon green, but it looks white in these lights.
It does look white in those lights, yeah.
On green in person, but on Pitch Central, it's the same way.
Really?
It's weird.
Like it does. Like it does. You don't really see the green. It's like it just looks much lighter.
We have like a color grading issue here or something. I don't know. I'm falling apart, boys. I got to tell you, I think we're falling apart as a team. Ev, you were a little sick this week. I had foot pain, so I'm officially wearing Dr. Scholl's inserts like a fucking 75-year-old man in my checkered Vans.
Have you been? Well,
I haven't been walking.
Like, have you been doing more stuff or like running?
No, I actually don't do anything active. I sit on my couch all day, so the foot pain doesn't make any sense. But
because if
we're here,
if you were like, those don't have the most support, so you could theoretically.
It's for people that can't see, it's the checkered Vans. That's the Robbie Fox
that's my
special.
problem. That's why I bought a pair of like black Vans, not those like the lace ones.
Yeah.
And they're very stylish, but they just hurt my feet.
Yeah,
exactly. Like I go out with them for a night and I can't wear them. I can't do it.
Yeah.
I just can't do it.
It's bad. First comment. We knew this was coming.
Here we go.
Paddy and Ariel. It was a big week for Paddy, obviously. Yeah. It's Paddy the Baddy fight week. He's making headlines. And let's talk about it right off the jump. Paddy the Baddy is now in a war with Ariel Helwani over this podcast he did with Dana White. So Paddy had Dana White on his podcast, Chat and Pony, and they kind of went in on Ariel in the way that, Dana is known to do.
But Paddy kind of started it.
He brought up Ariel. Similar thing that I did in my first interview with Dana. And we talked about Ariel, and that's what he initially got upset with me over. And then we kind of ironed out, everything. And now Paddy's feuding with him. So now it's like, listen, we're not an unbiased source here. We're going to probably have Paddy – not probably. We're going to have Paddy's back. We always have Paddy's back. Yeah. An interesting situation unfolded.
For sure. Listen, I guess I'll preface it by saying I do think Ariel's very good at his job. He puts out a lot of great content and this stuff. I'm always, like I said, we like Paddy. We know Paddy well. I will say this from listen, just a pure business standpoint. If you were to lick someone's boot, would it be the guy who doesn't work for you, or you don't work for, or the guy who pays your bills?
So Paddy called him
who signs your checks.
Proper little gimp.
Is that what he said?
Yeah, but it was beefed out because they don't want it to be demonetized.
Yeah.
Or like less monetized. It's something that's just classic YouTube, which makes sense because even like expressions, he won't swear, so he gets more ad revenue.
We should figure something like that out. But man, I'm bad with it.
No, it would be.
I got F-bombs flying
filthy
left
mouth,
and right.
filthy, dirty, rotten.
You taking out F-bombs in yours would be licking the boot of Barstool because they get the money. They pay us, but you get them. It's not like your own YouTube channel.
Oh my God, James Bell just commented, do you think Paddy likes the taste of Dana's cum? Or
no,
does
you
he
guys
just drink it for business purposes only? Bro, you sat at your computer and you typed that out? Like, pause. That's some comment to type out. Paddy forgot when he had him on the show years ago. Nobody had a clue who he was. Listen, it was a tough situation where there was like middlemen involved. They're talking through the manager. They're talking through this. It's, hey, did you talk about me demanding money? No, I didn't, but it kind of insinuated it on a show where people knew what was happening. There was a lot of like muddied confusion in the whole thing. I don't think anybody came out of the situation looking like amazing, like, oh my God, they're like a saint, like, and this person's the devil. It was just one of those things where like shit happens. Do I think they're going to hate each other forever? No, I think they're going to make up at some point and
Ariel's
move on, to be honest.
Not to lick his boot. He's a very, at least in my opinion, mature guy. And he and in this situation, obviously, was very
I
mad.
think he said at the end of it, he was like, if Paddy called me tomorrow and said, like,
That's what I'm
let's
saying.
make up, he was like, I'm fine with that. Now, I don't think Paddy's going to call him tomorrow. I think maybe some time's going to pass because words were thrown, nicknames were thrown out. But I don't know. I didn't view this as like some kind of scathing. Like, I don't think
People
this
are
is just
saying,
the
like,
start of the war.
He destroyed his reputation. I don't know why people say it's like, what reputation? Like, what does that mean? I will say I don't agree with like.
I don't think Paddy destroyed. I don't think Paddy came out of this looking like the worst guy in the world. I think it's like it was a bad situation, no doubt.
He made
Ariel came with the receipts. Yeah, that's what he did.
No, yeah,
for-
no, I'm
for an
definitely not
hour.
mad at Ariel for coming receipts. But yeah, I also,
No, you can't. Be
I don't
mad
think
at
Paddy.
Ariel.
I don't see how you can say Paddy ruined his reputation.
Like, what does that even mean? Also,
It's
maybe
grudges. We got two guys holding grudges.
and also, I want to be honest. Probably, like the people that are very much in this world, the MMA world of Twitter and all this beef, is probably 5% of like
course.
like most fans that think about Paddy the Baddy like in this office, who are obviously that's not the best demographic, but like before that, let's say Paddy didn't have a relationship with us and they just knew Paddy the Baddy, they wouldn't know this happened.
No,
He
this
didn't-
is such a hardcore MMA fan.
Exactly, and there's a lot of fans, but it's not like Paddy's now known as this awful, awful human being. If you think that, I mean, you can hate Paddy, whatever. Like, I don't really care if you hate him, but it's not like he went and like, I don't know, broke the law.
No, and we got people saying you guys are biased as hell. Admit that. Be honest. We are
For sure.
We're admitting that.
Yeah.
This is a friggin' pro Paddy the Baddy podcast because Paddy is our guy. So no doubt we're biased in this. We're not the guys to call it down the middle. There's plenty of other people calling it down the middle. That's for you guys to do, basically. But in this, we got to have our boys back.
And I think
we're not going to sit here and go against Paddy in any situation.
All three of us like Ariel too.
Yeah.
I don't know him personally. I've never talked to him.
We've
but
had our back and forth in the past, but I don't have any issue with him at this point. Like,
I have a lot of respect for him. Like he's been in the sport like covering. I mean, way longer than I have.
I
like,
see him
doing
at the
it for
fights. I see him at WWE.
long
We
time.
always say hi. We always say
This
what's
is-
up.
This is very funny. Everyone's talking about Paddy, and then Antonio Spars is asking, will it be awkward to watch the 17-year-old fight on
I
Saturday?
think he's 18 now,
He is.
I believe
But-
he turned 18. but I do agree
But
with
his
kind
brain
of the
isn't
sentiment.
fully developed. I guess that's true. But that's not, your brain isn't fully developed till you're like 25,
25,
right?
yeah,
So,
yeah,
like,
yeah.
come on. We're watching, people in the NFL. We're watching other people in combat sports coming up at that age.
I don't know how to. I don't even know if I should go down this lane. I don't know how to like bring it up in a way that's like proper.
Where are we going here, Ev?
I don't know if I even want to. I might stop myself now.
You have to now. I don't even know what he's going to
What
say.
in the
Ro-
fuck?
I mean, Roses. He obviously he's young. I like don't
Oh, are you saying like he's not all there?
Okay.
I-
see what-
I-
yeah.
I like-
I see what you're saying. I saw his media day, and it came off
He's-
to me like he's a 17-year-old for sure.
he's extremely young.
A little,
Um,
nothing against him. He talks like a 17-year-old though. A little.
Yeah,
immature.
yeah.
Huncho, that's so mean. He said he sounds like he already has CT. Well, I mean,
I root for him.
I bet
A
Jay
young
Perrin.
underdog like that. Oh, you bet against him?
Yeah.
I'm gonna
Oh.
bet against him too.
Oh,
He's
fuck.
7. He's
Well, no,
eight-
this is what
I
it is.
know. That's
Well,
why
well,
I root for. The
Well, now
kid.
we're just getting into the card, I guess. But just on my thought process on him is just like he's so young, and also to give Jay Perrin kind of. I know he's 0-2. He's fought two like pretty good guys. I mean, Mario Batista's a fucking dog.
and he won
Yeah.
3 rounds with him.
I think Mario Batista's a legitimate like top 15 guy.
And he
In
won.
bantamweight. I think he's like that good.
He won all 15
Bantamweight's
minutes.
so good though. It's tough. That's like a
Who?
tough division. Just that division.
Oh,
is
yeah.
so tough.
And I mean, he had his moments. Like he won the with Aori. Like I thought he won the round. I thought if he grappled earlier in the fight, he could have won that fight. And
Yeah.
he's like pretty solid too. I also just think from a grown man to child like point of view, there's just like a grown man strength that I think you just don't like. Listen, he's a phenomenal grappler, Roses, and could he win this fight? Abso-fucking-lutely. But I mean, I just think they're like Perrin's like a tough guy, durable guy. He's a grown man fighting a kid.
They're saying he trains with Aljo.
I don't know. I think Perrin can absolutely win.
Perrin trains in New York?
I guess so.
Jay Perrin won't be in the UFC this time. They should. Yeah,
Aljo had a weird post recently on Instagram where I clicked on it and it was like, "Will I lose my next fight to Henry Cejudo? Maybe, but you know what? Like I was like, what the fuck? Like, bro, the fight's not even official yet. Let's not talk like that. It was I love like Aljo, especially compared to other people. I feel like he's so hated in the MMA space. I don't hate on him.
Yeah,
I root for him. I like
it really
him,
is so like just that that fight with the knee, he was so loved before that.
Yeah.
He was really well liked.
And he was
and
that
that
guy,
just
like
flipped
hardcore
everything.
MMA fans were always saying, like,
watch out,
Aljo, watch out for him.
Yeah.
You know, he's climbing the ranks. Like, if Aljo gets a string of wins together. And then, yeah, everything kind of fell apart from there. Before we, like, fully get into the 282 card, is there any other shit we should talk about news-wise?
I'm McGregor and Rogan.
Yeah,
Yeah,
McGregor
of course.
and Rogan, and whose piss would melt the cup off.
Well, then he said Rogan.
That term was funny that Rogan used. That was funny.
Yeah.
Super, like
His
his
piss would melt
radioactive
the bottom
piss.
of a
Yeah.
cup. That was funny.
And then McGregor said Rogan's piss would melt his
knickers.
which is pants.
Yeah,
Underpants.
underwear, yeah.
All right.
Same
Which
thing,
is
yeah, pants.
like, I love you, Connor, but like, you got to come up with a different insult. You can't just be like, "No, you are." You know, like that's kind of what.
No,
it is.
it's like the Florida State kids
And
who
it's
got
also
suspended. Like, we're not suspended. You're suspended.
And if you said,
Which is an all time. Those kids, I don't know whatever happened to them, but getting suspended off of a campus for being a frat and then saying we're not, and then telling the local news we're not suspended, you're suspended is an all time line.
It was actually when all that was going on. I was at Ohio State, and there was there was a big crackdown on frats there too.
Oh yeah,
and they used that. Like I remember some kid, one of the frats made like this big song to it, like a remix, like literally using like 12, like using the
12
the news clip, 12 fraternities where Ohio State were suspended this weekend, and it has this drop. It's like fuck that shit, and it's like this whole thing, and it always reminds me of that. Like that was like where I think like where it all started from.
Oh yeah, Dustin Poirier's foot.
crazy.
I mean, hopefully it's fine.
Staph is a crazy thing because it's so common in the sport.
Other than he did not. I mean, I guess he didn't literally almost die, but
It
was
was
like
almost die.
I think there was I think what happened was he tweeted. I think there was maybe like a moment where the doctor was like, if things keep going south, we might have to like remove the foot kind of thing.
He said things are getting serious because he wasn't responding to antibiotics.
I think it's one of those like if he had continued to not respond, it could have taken a dark turn. They did start responding to the antibiotics.
Yeah,
is my understanding.
Yeah, well,
he posted a picture of his foot. It looked nasty. It looked like a Frankenstein foot.
TJ Dillashaw, that was a bizarre hour.
Yeah, retire, unretire, retire, unretire. I don't know if that was him flip-flopping or if that was
what
just
a
news
weird
sources.
rollout.
Yeah,
it makes you think like what's going on.
Some people are suggesting is he retiring just to do the McGregor where he could pull himself out of USADA, heal up, put some stuff in that, and then unretire.
Maybe. I guess you can't put it like past him.
Go get some clean juice, as they say.
That's what Honcho thinks. See, he's not retired. He's going to juice up on that McGregor juice and come back.
Also, I was nearly like dead on with my text to you guys when we saw like Dustin Poirier's foot at first. I was like, McGregor is going to dance on his grave if something bad happens. And immediately McGregor quote tweeted him like, haha, the karma, it's your foot too. Look at that.
Jesus Christ. The best thing about McGregor is he tweets that and then deletes it 3 hours later.
Always. What? He takes that from John Jones. That was like the John Jones special for like 10 years. And then McGregor, I think, is just
like the Rogan tweet. He took it down within 2 hours.
Yeah, it was gone. I had to blog that without it. And also the whole thing about the Rogan thing, McGregor's like, you're on steroids. Like, how come you haven't taken a fight? One, how come you haven't taken a fight? Like, what are you talking? Like, do you want John Anik taking fights too? Like,
he was like, ha ha ha, Taekwondo, ha ha ha.
Yeah. I forget, somebody was on his show and he was like, you gonna take a fight? He was like, no.
Yeah. And the steroid thing.
He was like, would you even fight like someone like your age? He's like, no.
Yeah. Like, the steroid thing he admits to constantly.
Yeah.
Like Joe Rogan is like, I get hormone replacement, I get TRT.
when he talked about McGregor, it was on the podcast when they're talking about Liver King.
Yep.
And the
steroid
entire
guy.
podcast, he said, no, like I've been on TRT, which is testosterone replacement therapy, which is essentially, as you said, steroids.
Yeah.
For the past, he was like 10 to 15 years. He's
Well,
like,
the,
And
well,
he
the
could
home
do
run
that.
shit is like I remember like Sylvester Stallone talking way back in the day that like he's like if you're rich, take HGH. It's like great for you.
oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
It's like not truly like I think HGH and that kind of stuff. I'm sure that's kind of like similar to what Rogan's doing. It's not like I'm pretty sure it's like illegal for sports, but it's not steroids.
No,
in-
you can get it pharmaceutically.
it's not steroids in the sense of like I don't think it had. I think HGH and those things don't have like the negative impacts like steroids does.
like it's not
I-
trenbolone.
it's like supposed to help you heal. It like keeps you like younger, longer kind of thing.
Trenbolone and the like D-ball. Those are things that are like ones that make you look like a bodybuilder. And
Mhm.
obviously, not everyone. You don't just take it and turn into a bodybuilder, but
I wish that's how it worked.
I know, right?
That'd be
That
awesome.
would be amazing.
Oh yes. Well, we didn't talk. Sergey, we didn't talk about the card, but UFC Orlando.
It was a good card. I mean, that main
Yeah.
event was amazing.
Yes, and
Both
then
guys came out
Polovic-
with broken hands.
is Sergey's legit.
He's a monster.
Yeah.
I was
It was a scary
surprised. I
performance.
was
He cut Ty up.
he's
My blog was just like, it really sucks watching
Yeah,
Ty
I
get
know.
beat up like that.
yeah, it does because he has such a chin. I think that was what was so impressive about it. Because Ty does have a great chin, and for him to go in there and just absolutely run through him like that was crazy.
Right after his walkout to the Like a Bird. That was
Yeah.
so great. Everyone
Mhm.
was singing along to it.
I love Ty. That just hurt me.
Yeah. Pretty good card overall, though. Pretty,
I wonder what they
pretty
do with
enjoyable
Pavlovich
card.
next. I said we talked about in the group
Please.
chat. I said so. I don't hate that. I said they should do Gone next, just because for me that's just me as a fan.
That would be.
I want to
sick
see him
fight.
strike it out with somebody. But I mean, Blades would make a ton of sense. I mean, we just also with Pavlovich is this weird thing. Like we just haven't seen him fight we haven't seen him fight like any like grapplers really or anything, and we haven't seen him fight more than like 3 minutes.
Yeah.
That's the biggest thing.
So we just haven't
what
seen
happens
like, what
if he
looks
gets?
like.
Yeah,
But he could have a gas tank. You don't know. You just don't know.
Eric Anders.
National champion.
national champion, and I mean, he looked good, man. That was a great bet by Lee, and other people that were really in on him. I didn't end up taking him, but I was wrong. I thought he would just end up losing a decision, but Eric looked really good. I don't know if he's young enough to have like a career revival, but he looked like if he lost that one, he may have been out of the UFC.
Know who else looked pretty good? Michael Johnson.
Yeah,
he did. He
Tia
definitely did.
Casey has his foot always looked like that, where it like is like it looks like it's about to like it's just weird. It's his right foot, I think. It looked like it's like it healed in a wrong way. I don't know if anybody the Dawkins brothers below.
We got like 90 people in the
Yeah.
chat watching live. Make sure you like the video. Appreciate you guys in the chat. Leave a comment. We'll talk to you. We'll answer your questions in this.
Tia Casey
Little breakdown.
was shockingly bad.
I was just gonna say I was shocked that he was shocked that like he thought he was gonna get the decision. I was like, bro, you clearly didn't
Yeah,
win.
I know.
Yeah.
You obviously did not win.
Tia
No one watching that fight thought he won.
Tia Casey was like, I don't know what was wrong. Like, it was bizarre. I thought Michael Johnson fought great. He won the fight, but it wasn't like Michael Johnson was like, oh my God, that was the best performance he's
Yeah,
had.
agreed.
No,
No,
yeah.
he fought very well.
Yeah.
But Dia Casey, like, what the fuck? But anyways, that's probably just me being mad because I thought he was gonna win. So whatever.
Confirmed 2 pay-per-views in March, 284 in Perth and 286 in London. Is that can't be-
285.
I was gonna say, yeah, that those
285
numbers can't
in
be
London.
right. Yeah.
But the 284 is in February. I thought.
Oh, yeah, it is.
I think it's in February.
It is.
And then 285.
Perth is
a pay per view.
and Perth is
They're doing this
Islam.
Makachev and
Yes. Yeah.
dude. I'm that
that's
like
gonna be sick.
Yeah.
Because they're doing what he said I believe is correct. Maybe it's 285, 286 are both in March.
when is Colby gonna
That might be-
fight?
They're saying that Dana said the London card was where they want him.
Yeah.
They wanted that to be like they wanted Colby
He said March
Hamzat
18th. I think.
Hamzat to be like the co-main of the London card, which would be nuts. That'd be
amazing.
because what he was already saying is that he wants that London pay-per-view to be like insane. Like
Yeah.
he was saying like better than this New York card, better than like basically any card he's had, even the
I
last
hope
year.
so. That'd be awesome. I
That's
mean,
what, and
Meatball
I was,
Molly's return.
yeah, I'm sure Meatball. Hopefully,
Maybe Patty if it's a
maybe
pay-per-view.
hopefully
like,
Patty if he doesn't things go very well this time around, which I think they will.
Well, actually, I don't know because I know Patty's got a wedding on the horizon as well. He might be taking time off.
Oh, actually, no, he did say that was one thing he talked about in just like the media like room interview. He said he has like I think going to Thailand or something.
I think so. Yeah.
He's a vacation booked in they call it a holiday.
Yeah. Going on holiday.
Yeah, going on holiday in July or in January, and he was like, the message is adamant we're doing that. So like that's 100% happening.
Surprised it's at the O2, yeah. But you know what? Dana is so like he
I'm sure
was
they
hyped
tried,
up in the
yeah.
moment, but he's so like anti outdoor shows
Yeah.
for weather. He's like, fuck that, especially overseas.
I'm sure they tried to look into what they could. I'm sure it just
Yeah.
didn't make sense, I would imagine.
Let's get into this card because there's a lot of fights to talk about, a lot of great fights. We were kind of talking about it before. It's kind of being shit on this card. But if you're a hardcore MMA fan, there's a lot to be excited about.
So I was saying this to you earlier, Robbie. I think it's one of those where the main event is so underwhelming for like a pay-per-view.
Yeah.
That's hurting it. But I said if you told me on like a main pay-per-view card that we were getting like Duplessis Till, we're getting Topuria Bryce Mitchell, and we're getting a Patty fight, I'd be like, that sounds pretty good so far. I'd be like keep going.
Yeah.
And then that's the problem where you're
And
like,
then
okay,
it's
then
like,
we go.
Yeah. That's
But if you had the same thing where like obviously we lose the Yuri Glover fight, that's brutal. But those three with the Anklaev and Jan, then the Glover Yuri, like that was a great card.
Yeah.
But I was thinking the four prelims, like getting Buckley Curtis, Dawkins Rosenstrike, Roses Jr. Obviously, people are like really. He's got a lot of attention right now, so it makes sense. What's the other? There's another good one that I'm missing. That's on the.
You say Till?
No, that's on the prelims. Shabazian.
Shabazian, yeah.
Like that. If you just told me that's like the four prelims, that's a solid prelim, like 4 fights.
Yeah.
And then Billy Q. Alex Hernandez is an early prelim.
Yeah.
Like if you just told me that, I'd be like, wow, this card must be incredible.
Yeah.
So there are a lot of really good fights, like a lot of good matchups on the card.
It's a sneaky good card, and one of those that I feel like is set up to over deliver on everyone's expectations.
They usually do. I always say like the ones that have the least hype, you get the best fight, like pure fights.
Yeah.
And I hope we get that. I think there's a chance that we do.
All right, so let's get into it. The first fight of the night is Simon versus Kozlo, 2 6-0 fighters here. Do one of you guys want to pull up the odds?
I got
this
it.
card.
So I know
Simon's
from.
a
Is he
contender
from
series.
South?
He's a
Africa?
contender series guy, I'm pretty sure.
And I think Kozlo's moving up a weight division to take this fight. I think he's a 125er moving up to bantamweight for this. Oh, they call him. Oh, yeah. We saw this guy, right? Obi-Wan Shinobi, the pillow. Where did we see this guy? Because this is his UFC debut. Why do I know him?
Who? Cameron?
Obi-Wan Shinobi.
Which one's Obi-Wan Shinobi? Simon or Kozlo?
Yeah.
Simon, I'm like 90. I know is the contender series guy. I remember him. I don't really have I'm not super opinionated on the fight.
I don't really know
I just
these
haven't
guys.
seen enough. Like Simon, I remember it did look good in the contender series. I'm not super like opinionated on it.
Yeah, I mean, it seems like a spot to take a shot on the dog, but Simon is someone I think they feel very highly from a prospect perspective. We'll see. It's a good fight to start the night. It's nothing. It could be a banger, but the next one's definitely a fight I'm much more interested in.
So Vinicius Salvador, is he the one who was having the good fight as a dog and then found out his appendix got taken out? Is that him? You remember what I'm saying? He was on the contender series.
Yeah, he's a contender series.
Oh,
guy.
his appendix was like bursting.
Was he the one who he fought like he was fighting well and he lost? Like he was a warrior and he ended up getting finished, but they found out he literally was fighting with like a ruptured appendix.
Yes. I think
I'm pretty sure that's him.
Yeah. That totally rings a bell.
I'm pretty sure
I
that's
also
him.
got my appendix removed. Do you guys have your appendixes?
I still have it.
I still have mine. My sister got hers removed, actually.
I got mine removed when I was in 5th grade. It was pretty scary stuff. Still
But-
my only surgery.
No, Vinicius won his contender
So
series.
who am I thinking of that got his
Oh.
appendix removed?
Yeah, he knocked some.
Maybe he knocked the guy out that had his appendix out.
Shannon Ross.
You know that he might have fought the guy that got his appendix out. He might have beat the appendix guy. Maybe that's where I
Beat
messed
that
up.
Australian
He was
guy.
the
Yes, Ev, that was
Australian.
the other guy. Lee says that was the other guy. Okay, so he was in that fight.
And he got that Australian got knocked down like 5 times, but he kept
Yes,
getting
yes,
up.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
Vinicius,
yes.
Vinicius has a he's very powerful. But that guy, Shannon Ross, was a guy that
Also,
still talking about Helwani in our
De-
chat.
De
Oh my
Silva-
goodness.
Helwani 10-7, Helwani
He's got-
10-7.
Helwani's got his crew.
De
Helwani
He
Silva-
really does.
he's been doing it a long
Fair enough.
time.
No.
I tip
no.
my cap to him.
Fair play, as they
De
say.
Silva's like Mr. Like, if I don't get you out of there in the first round, like I'm in trouble.
Yeah,
I mean, yeah, he's lost 3 times. He's fighting for his.
this would be his
His-
4th loss in a row.
yeah.
yeah.
He's fought some pretty good, but I mean, like he
He's
lost to
dangerous
Francisco
early.
Figueiredo, which is
Yeah, I'm definitely
Yeah.
not.
I don't
crazy.
no disrespect to Francisco, but I think if his
mean,
last name was Salvador, he wouldn't be in the UFC.
I think it's fine. Leaving that disrespect in there.
Yeah, that is true. Yeah.
In the featherweight division, TJ Brown versus Eric Silva.
Interesting. Another contender series guy, Eric Silva.
Yeah,
And TJ Brown's a guy that's been in the UFC for a little bit.
but he's lost to some guys that like aren't great.
I know he's 16.
But then
9.
Silva's like submission or bust first round.
I
or-
know.
and
it's a
these
weird
guys are
fight.
both older. Oh, Silva was the older one that they signed.
Yes,
He's
he's
35,
older. He's
yeah.
35, yeah. But I will say the guy, when he gets on the ground, he's a fucking
He's in
killer.
trouble. Yeah,
But you're going up against TJ Brown, who's has lost to some.
the lines moved quite a bit as well.
Yeah.
TJ Brown was a decent dog, and now it's like a pick'em fight.
Mm.
Why is it not on our book?
Is Kraus involved?
No. Wait.
Oh no,
TJ Brown.
he
Is he really?
Yeah.
No, that's why.
That's
Holy
why
shit.
TJ Brown is Krause's.
TJ Brown's a glory guy.
Yes, he
crazy.
is.
That's funny.
It's fucking wild.
Oh, that's funny. Robbie, are you interviewing Dana this week? Unfortunately, not. We have a crazy, packed next 2 days. So
Yeah.
we're in New York now. Tomorrow, we're going to Providence for Rough and Rowdy. It's going to be a great event. Pac-Man Jones fighting in the main event. Grace O'Malley's fighting. It's going to be awesome. And we're going straight from Rough and Rowdy to Philly for Army Navy tomorrow, or for Saturday.
Yeah.
And then straight from Army Navy to the fights, me, Dave, and Dan. And then I think Austin and Max as cameramen. So it's going to be cutting it very close. We're going to be getting to Vegas when the pay-per-view is live, I think.
Wow.
So not the pay-per-view, but the prelims.
Mhm.
So I think we're going to be very much cutting it close.
Not bring it. Oh yeah, Brendan Schaub is having a
Yeah, they're doing
watch
they're
along.
doing a watch along. I believe it's him. It's Cowboy. It's Rampage Jackson.
Cowboy Cerrone?
Yeah,
Oh, shit.
it's him. Cowboy Rampage. It
and
was,
Adam 22's on it too.
yeah, and Adam 22. I know it was supposed to be
It's supposed to be
Theo.
Theo and
Joey
Diaz.
Diaz, and he had to
They
bail.
both got sick or something.
Mhm.
I was talking to Devlin about it yesterday. I'm
But
shocked.
that should be cool. I know. I will say that.
shocked he didn't.
I know
ask me to
people-
be on.
I know people like to talk shit about Schaub. Those fight commands he does do crazy views.
No, yeah.
They
and,
do,
and
like,
it's
a
also
lot of views.
great exposure for Rough and Rowdy, Cowboy
sure.
Cerrone and Rampage Jackson watching it
I
together.
think
No,
they'll
it should be
enjoy it.
so
I mean, I
cool.
think it's gonna
Yeah.
be a good show.
I think
Last
so
time
as
it was
well.
in Providence. It was awesome.
Yeah, and we have the main eventer Vicky D from the last time.
Yes.
Back. She's a legit fighter.
Yeah.
And the girl she fought last time went pro.
Yeah, Vicky.
Wow.
What's her last name? Vicky.
Vicky.
She went to
I don't know,
Prov.
call
She
her Vicky
went to
D.
Providence. Yeah, and I was wondering when she was going to come back for Rough and Rowdy, but now she is hometown.
Why do these people comment this, Jack? Robbie, answer. Why is Dana such a prick? I don't think he is a prick.
No.
Well, also that guy's
Dana's-
name is
Dana's
Dubrong
always been
666.
cool to me.
He's a devil.
Bro, when my little puppy got a little sick, Dana was the first one to send good messages and send literally treats and dog toys to my mom's house.
What is Jack Matt
He's a-
capping
yeah,
for
I'm
Shop?
not
That's
gonna- I'm not
I'm
gonna be like,
I'm not
Dane's a
capping for
prick.
Shop.
What
I
are you,
just told you
crazy?
that he's having a fucking fight companion, bro. Hot take Inc.
Back to the card.
Yep.
Huge fight here. Billy Q, our boy Billy Quarantillo versus Alexander Hernandez. I love Billy Q here. Love him. I saw him beat
No,
up on
this is Alexander the Great.
Ben the Bane Davis. Are you going against Billy Q?
Yes.
In this fucking office? Unbelievable.
I love Billy Q, but Alexander the Great's
Doesn't
about to
sound
go on
like
his
it.
Charles Oliveira run.
Doesn't sound like it.
Yeah, all right. This is going
Are
to be.
you on him too? These fucks that
I didn't.
work with,
I didn't
Billy.
say anything. I said nothing.
Billy, if you're out there working,
No.
if you're out there watching
I
this,
didn't say. I think the line is off.
What's the line?
Billy's a big favorite.
Minus
Run through him.
175.
He's going to run through him.
My problem is Hernandez. I think is more like finishing upside.
Shut up, Rob. That was a fluke fight.
Yeah, he says against Cowboy was the funniest.
Nah,
shit ever.
stop bringing up that fight.
I don't know. I just think Hernandez. I'm curious how the weight cut, like how he's going to do at 145, because I think, like Jonas said, he made a good point. Like I think there's a weird.
His chin's gonna be
You
gone.
see some guys get like the chin goes, or they just have to suck so much weight. It's a problem. That I definitely am worried about. If the weight cut was like, if he really could get to that size and it's not an issue, I think it could pose problems for Billy, because I think Billy, I think he's gonna have the cardio advantage, but I think that could come into play. I think Hernandez is more like explosive, like a better athlete, a bigger power puncher. So
Billy's
I
gonna
like-
drag him down, strangle him.
I don't think that's gonna happen. I
that
think they're two guys. I think they're gonna slug it out on the feet,
Well, yeah.
and I think it's
He's
when
gonna
there's.
drop him and then.
I
strangle him.
do think it favors Billy Q if the fight goes long. That I agree with. I agree with Lee
I will say
in
also.
the chat that Billy Q round 3 is a must bet. I agree that if it goes in the third round, I'd be like, oh, like Billy Q's. It's definitely getting better and better to Billy Q.
Under two
But if
and
it
a
ends
half.
early, like if it ends earlier, I'd be like, oh, like Hernandez won the fight. Like if you just told me, oh, the fight ended 3 minutes in the first round, I'd be like, oh, like Hernandez won for sure. But I just think he has more. I think he has more upside, like more like finishing upside. Hernandez.
I think Billy does. I'm
Under
I'm
2.5
nowhere near
plus
I
that.
like Billy
110.
Q a lot. I just think it's like I was surprised to see the line where, for example, like Hernandez's last fight was against Moicano. Like Moicano's a beast, a fucking beast, and Billy Q hasn't really fought like a. I just don't know if he's fought
Burgos
somebody
pretty
like
good.
Burgos is very good. He's not a one punch knockout power though. Like he doesn't have the power that like Hernandez has in one shot.
Yeah,
That's my concern for Billy Q.
he'll just piece him up in 1,000.
But I
shots.
do think Billy Q is a very tough guy. Like I think he's got a good chin and he's got great cardio and he's just a dog. So I do think there's a place where the cut gets to Hernandez and Billy Q drags him into deep waters. Like, I don't think that's like out of the question at all. I guess I'm not as bullish as Jack Mack is on Hernandez. But I think if you're going to give me Hernandez plus like 140, 150, purely like betting standpoint, like I think that's a good number to take a shot at Hernandez.
Yeah, I think I like Alexander the Great inside the distance. I like under 2.5 here, and I like Alexander plus 140.
In the regular prelims now, we have an amazing fight that kicks it off. Chris Curtis versus Joaquin Buckley
So
in the middleweight division.
yeah, I don't know what to do with this.
What's the line?
Joaquin's minus 175 on the.
But
versus
it was
Sport.
like a pick. It opened like a pickup.
But like, why the love so much for Joaquin?
I think maybe just he's a bit more explosive, better athlete. Curtis, I think so. Curtis is a couple things. I think he has had good. I think he's obviously much more experienced. I think he's had some good fortune in the UFC. Like I think he's like even like we saw it in 2 years ago, or I guess a little over a year ago, in like the Phil Hawes fight. Like
Yeah.
I know it was kind of early in the fight, but Phil Hawes was like dominating and he just caught him. I think he's kind of had like some of that stuff happen to him, and then you saw like Hermanson, who's not like the greatest striker. Hermanson just like absolutely like picked him apart.
Yep.
For 3 rounds. I don't know. I guess
I lean Buckley.
I guess I would take Buckley. I think the line's too big now that I wouldn't take it anymore. Like at 170, I don't like it.
Yeah.
I'd have pick him. I had no problem with Buckley, but I also think Buckley. I think Buckley's more powerful too. I think he has more like diverse striking than. I think Curtis is a good boxer.
Chris Curtis did have a mental breakdown on Twitter when Hermanson
did.
lost.
That's a
Dude is
fact.
that is a fact. That's not wrong.
I mean, I'm not going to say the part about him being mentally fragile is true, but he did have a mental breakdown on Twitter, and he came out on the other side looking okay though, because I thought he, cheersed with Jack afterwards, and he was like, "Listen, everybody has those bad moments at work where you freak out. Mine was in front of everybody. I regret it." Like, obviously, he seemed normal enough after that.
No, I don't think Curtis is like I don't think Curtis is like a bad guy or anything.
He did have a mental breakdown on Twitter.
Also, I think
he was furious about the whole.
Fact is a fact. Call it like we see it.
Also, yeah, he's much. Also, it's funny because I've been seeing these weird stats lately. They've been swinging me a little bit where these fighters that are much younger win at a pretty high clip. He is 7 years younger.
Yeah.
Just a little. I definitely would never just base my bet off that, but just a little food for thought there. Just like sprinkle in another fact for the people. But yeah, I would lean Buckley. I don't like the price anymore, but if I'm just picking the fight, I'm going to pick Buckley.
We stick with the middleweights, and this one is Edmund Shabazian versus Dalcha, who we saw. I feel like we saw him. We've talked about him
out badly
a lot on this podcast.
After he won round 1.
Yeah, he looked good in round 1.
So this is, you remember, like, it's
Shabazian was literally his nickname, the Golden Boy.
Shabazian's hype train was real, and then
had Ronda's name attached to him. Still does.
The first time.
Was it?
Well, he had a couple where he
Derek Brunson, right?
Well, but he looks in both those fights in the Brunson fight and in the Hermanson fight, he was winning. Like both those fights, he was like winning the fight.
Oh, and Imavov. I forgot about
Imavov. Smoked him. That was actually last year in the Garden too.
Yeah,
on the Kobe Usman card too.
Yep.
But yeah, I remember watching that. That was tough.
I felt bad for him because I do like him. I root for him.
Imavov just like pounded him.
But yeah,
Imavov was who beat Buckley too, and Buckley I thought looked good in the couple. Not to go back to Buckley, but the more I'm thinking about Buckley, the more I'm liking Buckley. But Shabazian, I think I hope this is the fight he gets back on track. He moved to Extreme Couture.
I didn't know that.
He finally left that Rousey camp.
Thank fucking God.
Which I think was smart because if you think, like, I know I watched some like interviews he had on it and some other people talk about it who I trust, and they're like, they never really had anybody good there besides Ronda.
No,
and like Ronda really got a
Travis Brown moved there and got a couple wins, but like
Ronda was like never nearly as good as we all thought she was at the time. Obviously, that the way things panned out.
That coach, oh my God, he is.
I'm hoping, like, I like Shabazian, and he's so young that I hope this is like the time he gets back.
How old is he now?
He's 25.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Like he was 21, like 22, 23.
And you were just
fighting these like Brunson, Hermanson. These are like staple top like 5 to 10 guys in that division.
You were just mentioning the age difference. There's a 10-year gap between
I think Shabazian finishes Dalcha. I really hope he's fucking 7 inches taller. Crazy that he's 7 inches taller, and Dalcha has like 2-inch reach.
Yeah,
that's pretty wild.
Yeah,
I think Shabazian gets on track here, and I think this could be a guy like this is the fight that he like has to win if he doesn't beat Dalcha.
No,
which Dalcha's a powerful guy, so like who knows? But if he doesn't beat Dalcha, I don't know what is he gonna do?
Yeah, his head movement scares me.
Edmund?
Yeah,
was
that a Rousey joke? Head movement.
Yeah, so like he just doesn't. He doesn't. Anyways,
I mean, Shabazian should win. I like even like inside the distance. I think is like where like he should finish him. But he definitely is more I think like skilled and all that. You just gotta like just one of those like gotta just pick yourself up and like just get back on the winning track, which is much easier said than done.
Yeah.
But he's a talented kid. He's extremely young. Like you just said, he's much younger. I think he's like so the times he got beat, it was because he was held down, like ground and pounded to death.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I don't think Dolce is the guy to
little.
That too. I don't think he's the guy to do that. I mean,
no.
So that's why I do favor Edmund pretty favorably in this fight. I mean,
Sean in the chat said, "You guys ready for the Bellator fights Friday?" There
are a lot of really good fights. Really good fights.
Not gonna promote them too much because we're promoting a competing pay-per-view.
Also,
but Danny Sabatello and Rafion Stotts, that's been like the most hyped up, talked about Bellator fight of the year.
That fight will be definitely after
Rough and Rowdy's
over.
Yeah.
That'll be a great fight.
But I also saw our guy Danny Sabatello was Ariel's first guest after the whole Paddy rant. And he joined and he was like, "Go off, Ariel. Fuck that Paddy guy." And I was like, we love you, Danny. And then you had to go there. Tough. We got to have our guys back there. In the heavyweight division, Rosenstrike versus Chris Dawkins. We just saw his brother Kyle.
I know. Honestly, Jack, you love Rosenstrike, right?
Yeah, but the line movement's kind of.
Is he a huge favorite in this fight?
I got him at 175. Now he's down to minus 167, so not that big. But like, I just think Rosenstrike, and he's in my opinion, a simple guy. When he goes up against elite competition, he kind of folds. But when he goes up against a guy like Dawkins, he's just like,
I agree.
He's like a levels above him. But for whatever reason, I thought this line was going to go like balloon a little bit more up to minus 200.
I kind of thought so too. I agree with you. I'm surprised that it hasn't.
And that gives me a little pause, but I still like my bet. And I just am not a big fan of Dawkins. I think Rosenstrike can catch him. And also Dawkins, how's he won this fight? He knocks out Rosenstrike, I guess.
So I'm glad Antonio Esparza said it in the chat. He said Dawkins said in his interview he's going to grapple. I don't know why, but I like Dawkins plus 144. Dawkins, I know he is like a black belt in jiu-jitsu. We've never seen him do any of it whatsoever in the UFC. He just went out and just stand and traded with everybody. And I agree with what you said, Jack, 100%. Like when he fights these guys that are like, I think he's the perfect, like basically like gatekeeper for like the top 10.
Yeah.
I think that like when even like the guys in like the outer rankings, he smashes them.
Yeah.
Like he knocks guys the fuck out because he just beats him with speed. He's such a fast, like,
and he's a talented.
So I've also heard he's gonna that he wants to move to light heavyweight, which I don't think is like the right move for him.
Yeah, I still think. I mean, like,
because I think he's like so fat.
Fight at heavyweight.
I think like 235 ish, like 230, 235.
Yeah.
But you obviously can see there's some room that he could definitely cut weight. But I just think he's better off being like a fast heavyweight than like trying to like suck his body down to be a light heavyweight, where it's probably more competitive. But I do like Rosenstrike because I think it's one of those things. Because I remember so when him and Derek Lewis fought, it was a pick'em, and I thought Lewis was like free money.
Yeah,
I think you saw it where he's just a small heavyweight, and even with like what Blades smashed like knocked him out. And I think this is a fight where like Rosenstrike, like I think Rosenstrike just in the first round or two, if he just lets his hands go, I think he catches him. And we've seen him like Rosenstrike is good. Like who has just held down Rosenstrike?
Pretty much nobody.
Like he has good takedown defense.
Unfortunately, we do have to speed it up a little bit.
Oh yeah,
just because
we did break down the Roses fight pretty much.
Yeah, so I like Rosenstrike. I like Perrin. I like Perrin at the price, especially plus like 200. Just a 29-year-old versus an 18-year-old. I mean, they're like, he's fought like such better competition.
Yeah, exactly.
Like Batista is like him fighting Batista. That is nothing like anything that Roses has seen ever. Not even close.
Yeah, that's what
I think Batista's would murder Roses.
And I think Roses had some spots in that Dana White Contender Series fight where there was times where it's like a guy that was a little bit more like he like put himself in not the greatest positions, like, and the guy that he was fighting just was not good enough to take advantage of him, and he just overpowered him. I don't know if he's going to be able to do that with Perrin.
Yeah, the guy, he was just like a guy.
Yeah, he just fought like kind of a guy.
He just was a guy.
By the way, some of the if someone wants to have a laugh, the guys that Bellator is feeding, what's his name? It's this wrestler from Iowa State. It's just
the Rasta guy.
No, not Rasta. He's actually.
I love that guy.
I like him too. He's ripped.
He's a beast.
He's from Pittsburgh. He's a Yinzer.
That guy's a beast. I like watching
Dalton, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
I like watching him fight.
He's like a little bit more further along in his career, but there's this guy who's like the first guy he fought in Bellator was like a guy who was legitimately 0-3, and this time he's fighting a guy who's like 1-4.
Pat Downey. The guy's fighting Pat Downey.
Yes, thank you. I knew Lee wouldn't know it. That's the disadvantage of not having Lee here, because the second I said it, he would have known it immediately.
Miss you, Lee.
The main card: Bryce Mitchell versus Ilya Taporia kicks things off. What a fight! First of all, what a fight this is.
This is the best just matchup on the whole card, in my opinion. In terms of
I think you're right.
In terms of two like
The
two
main
like
event is like
the,
is a
the,
good
the,
matchup
the winner
right
of
now.
this fight is getting a huge fight.
Yeah.
Yeah,
The
you
winner
know,
of this fight, in my opinion, should get a top 5-6 guy in featherweight.
I just think
Deserves it.
Taporia is so good.
I do too.
And the line movement's a little weird. It was at minus 150, got down to like minus 130. Now it's back to minus 140 on the Barstool Sportsbook. I like Taporia. I bet him. He's my biggest bet so far. I think he's just so talented. And I don't mean that from the perspective of, obviously, if he fights Paddy, I'm riding with Paddy. But in this fight, also, I think Bryce is a very talented guy too. This may be a fight we'll look back on in like 3 to 4 years and be like, man, like here's a rematch for like either a belt
Yeah.
or like the chance to get a belt. So this is an awesome fight. I'm on Taporia.
I like Mitchell.
Okay.
I like Mitchell in this via sub.
Yeah, so my thought process is like I like Mitchell a lot too, but not in this fight. I don't. Taporia, I think the thing that's something with Taporia, he's looked so good with like he's been knocking guys out. He's looked really good with his striking. And I think I was talking to Robbie about this before off air that I think people don't realize about him is his whole thing was like his whole growing up, he was a wrestler, grappler. Like that's his base. So I think this is the thing where I think we're gonna know like very early on. Like Bryce is gonna try to shoot. I think.
Oh yeah.
I think it'd be a
absolutely.
huge mistake by Bryce.
Absolutely.
Because if they stand and trade, I think Taboria's gonna knock him out. And I think that might happen regardless. But I think Bryce is really good. But if he can't take Taporia down and hold him down, I think he's fucked. Now listen, he might be able to do that. Like Bryce is country strong, Arkansas
Savage.
strong. He's a
Yeah.
savage, and I think he's a tough motherfucker. And he looked so good in his last fight, against Edson.
Yeah.
Even even like knocked him down,
Straight domination.
was beating like just totally dominated him. Like literally, like I think he 10-8'd him like 2 rounds. If he really just smoked Barbosa. Now on the other hand, Barbosa is he's a phenomenal striker, but is a fish on the mat. So like Taporia is not going to be nearly as easy to hold down like that. And who knows if he's even going to be able to take him down. So I think we'll know quickly. I like Taporia a lot as well. I'll be betting. I already bet Taporia some. Probably going to add more. I like Taporia. I think Taporia wins. I think Taporia can knock him out. I think he can finish him.
All right. We have like 5 minutes. I'm sorry. We're getting kind of pushed out.
Then by who?
Tell
Brandon?
Brandon can wait.
Well, Max Duggan's here, and then like I guess
Shut out Max Duggan.
The next 2 fights are Darren Till versus Duplessis and Santiago Ponzinibbio versus Alex Moreno. I don't feel confident in Darren Till at all. I like Darren Till, but oh my God, I fear for him in the octagon at this point. I hope that he comes back and knocks fucking Duplessis out, and it's an amazing moment for him. But I don't think he's gonna get that.
I like Till a lot. Duplessis is a tough motherfucker too. That war he had with Tavares was awesome. That was a great fight. That Duplessis definitely was getting. Honestly, Tavares was tough as hell in that fight. Duplessis definitely ate some damage, but he was really.
Santiago's only minus 190 against Alex Moreno.
I know, right? Strange.
I think he's gonna run through him.
Yeah, I mean Moreno. How do you even say his last name? I always fuck it up. He looked really good against Semmelsberger, and obviously he destroyed some of his other opponents as well. But it feels. Oh, so he opened minus 260, and he's been bet down to minus 195.
That's interesting.
I feel like that 260 line.
I wonder. I want to do some research into like what little digging into what type of like shit Moreno, like where he's at, like training wise. Like, was he just training? Is he all? I'd imagine he's not off the couch. I imagine he's taking this fight. He had been like training, was like going hard,
and it's a pay-per-view slot.
And so for a pay-per-view slot,
credit to him for taking on 3 days notice.
I'm sure they threw him a bag, took the fight in like literally less than a week's notice.
He deserves it too.
Like 5-6 days, and he's like Moreno's sneaky a good fighter.
You know, I'm with
because you want to know what Moreno is because it's funny because Magic said this too, and he like resonated with me where he's not like he's not physically imposing.
No, he looks.
Magic called him a nerd. I'm using the word. He looks nerdy. I'm more like you just look at him. He just doesn't look like he doesn't.
He's very pale.
He's
not
pale.
Ripped.
He's not ripped.
Sounds like you guys are describing me.
No, I'm just.
He doesn't have this like this like tough like aura about him, but he's a tough ass dude. I agree with the line. It almost scares me because I think Ponzinibbio should be like a much bigger.
I do respect if a guy, if something opens minus 260 and goes all the way down to minus 190, I
That's what I'm
expect that money coming in.
That's what I'm saying. Like that makes me want to stay away from the fight.
Which it should be a good fight though. It is a big step up for Pons. But
do y'all ever not take a
what?
Take a what?
Take a
But also, I guess to clarify in the last, I like Duplessis.
Do you ever not? Do
do
you
agree with
ever,
Magic?
Yeah,
all the time.
I like Magic a lot. Shout out him and Gomas. They both just do really good work.
In the co-main event, Paddy the Baddy Pimblett takes on
This
Jared
is where we
Gordon.
disagree.
This is where we disagree.
Oh, yeah.
They're not big Paddy guys. We are big Paddy guys. If you don't like Paddy, you could
But
suck
see,
our asses.
in this one, I genuinely like I have a lot of respect for Gordon. I think Gordon's a good fighter. I think he clearly, by far, is the best guy that Paddy's fought. I genuinely think Paddy's going to win. I think he's going to finish him. I think there's a few things. I think Paddy has the finishing upside, and I also think he has the it factor, which people want to like. I think people don't always take this into account. I think when you have a guy like Paddy, where this is a big pay-per-view fight, co-main event, Jared Gordon, as much as I said, I respect him so much as a person and a fighter, he's a prelim guy.
Yep.
Him fighting imagine you told me
Pay-per-view
like 6
co-main.
months ago that he was going to be fighting in a co-main event of a pay-per-view.
Yeah.
I think there's certain guys, like I think Paddy's built for this shit. I think he's the it factor. I think he's built for the bright lights, big stage, Vegas, pay-per-view co-main.
Agreed.
Before a title fight. I think Paddy, I think Jared's gonna be tough, but I think Paddy gets it done. I really, really do.
I do
really
agree.
do.
I also agree with David G a little bit. Everyone's calling Paddy a bootlicker. It seems like everyone's licking the boot of Ariel Helwani a little bit too. It's like a bootlicking.
And think about this. Dana pays Paddy. If you're bootlicking Ariel, he don't even know you exist.
Yeah, like what?
And you're bootlicking him. And like I said, I much respect to Ariel, but I'm just saying the people.
Oh yeah, that wasn't a shot.
That's not a shot at Ariel.
Either.
That's just people in the chat being like
the chat spammers. And then the main
beast
event.
I said before a title fight, aka the next fight, dummy. The B6, like relax, pal. The next fight's the
sometimes
pay-per-view.
gets really mad at the show. Like, it's one guy every show. It's like very common. Then like one guy just says, he's like, "Come find me."
The main event, obviously, the rescheduled, rebooked main event that we now have here. Jan versus Ankalaev. How do we feel about this? What's the line? What is the line?
It's like
Ankalaev's almost like close to 300 range. Yeah.
So this could just end up being really boring.
I kind of think it's gonna.
And
I think it might be too.
Ankalaev is it's gonna be like, yeah, he's incredibly talented, but he's another guy that's just so boring that like
this.
Do you like Jan?
I like don't love Jan. I think if I was gonna bet it, I would bet Jan.
Yeah, I don't love Ankalaev either.
Because Ankalaev
I think Jan can win.
Yeah.
I've said from the beginning, I said like I faded him in the Anthony Smith fight. That didn't know why. I still stand by Anthony Smith. I think would have been at least like in the fight if he didn't get hurt so fast. I've been like not a huge Ankalaev guy in the sense that I think he's really good, but there's just something like missing. Like he just doesn't like. He's very good, but for some reason he just doesn't wow me. He just hasn't wowed me yet. Maybe this will be the performance where he steps up and he wows you. If Jan can avoid takedowns, like I think Jan's like the Polish power is real.
Oh yeah.
So I mean, who knows?
Yeah, that's the thing.
Watching Jan fight.
And there was points,
but also, I didn't love. And I'm glad Antonio Esparza said that because I do.
Yeah,
there's part of me like Jan that like the way Glover just like ran through him.
Yeah,
was concerning.
Yep,
and was very concerning. It seemed like a guy who got his belt. He's older and was like, I did it already. Like, and Glover was in there like
we hit a parlay on that card. I remember that.
Yeah, and Glover was in there like I bet Glover, and I was very happy at it. Big dog, and Glover went in there like he was fighting for his life.
Yeah.
And Jan just didn't seem the same way. Like he tapped really fast, even though he was in a bad spot.
He was in a bad spot.
He was going to get choked regardless. I don't think he's like a quitter or anything, but I think he's a very tough dude.
No, Jan, and then also, but I will say for the Jan perspective, there was points before Anthony Smith really fucked up his leg that Anthony Smith looked decent against.
That's what I'm saying. I think
and could Jan do that possibly? But Anthony Smith and Jan are different fight. Like Anthony Smith has a lot like great ramp, but Jan's also has that push. But we'll see.
Anthony Smith's probably a little more well-rounded, but Jan is much more like dangerous.
100%.
All right, we got to get out of this room. Get Brandon Walker in here.
I
Buy
take-
Rough and Rowdy tomorrow night.
And Clive by decision probably isn't a bad bet.
I think
call it what it is.
I probably
Or
think
like
that's the
late,
best bet,
like a
too.
late finish maybe.
Buy R&R. Get Rough and Rowdy tomorrow night. Me, Dave, Dan, Large, Roan, Caleb, everyone on the call. It's gonna be great.
MTN Bean, I literally said he broke his leg, bro. I said before he did.
That's the thing. Before he looked good, I thought he looked solid, and then
Yeah,
he
before
hurt his leg, and then things went south.
Yeah.
Obviously,
All right, like
love
the
you
stream,
guys.
guys.
God bless. Thank you.